Your life feels off because you keep abandoning yourself. Every time you shrink to keep the peace, or every time you over-explain so that someone doesn't misunderstand you, or every time that you sit there feeling that pit in your stomach and you still choose them over you, you're abandoning yourself. And that's only going to lead to your exhaustion and to you living a life that is for everybody else and not for you. A life that is not aligned with you and not aligned with your soul. It won't just affect how you feel, it'll affect the entire structure of your life. When you are making decisions from that place, when you are making decisions from the place of abandoning yourself, constantly giving to others, catering to others, taking care of others, completely neglecting yourself and your wishes, you are not building a life that reflects you. You're building a life that keeps things smooth, and it doesn't even keep things smooth all the time now, does it? You're doing what keeps people comfortable, what avoids tension, what avoids rejection, but it also avoids truth. So you feel off. And if you don't feel off yet, you will one day feel off because it'll catch up with you. Because deep down, you know you're not fully showing up as yourself in your own life. You're filtering yourself, you're adjusting yourself, you're calculating how things will land instead of asking yourself, is this even right for me? And when you live like that long enough, which so many women are, and so many women have lived that way, you will feel disconnected from yourself. You will stop trusting your instincts. You'll start needing validation. You'll start asking other people what they think about things that you already should be feeling in your body, and you would if you hadn't been abandoning yourself for so long. And then one day you find yourself sitting there thinking to yourself, how did I get here? You got there by ignoring yourself. Over and over again. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you notice it, you can't unnotice it. And this is your opportunity to correct course and to get back on track and to get back on the path to yourself, your heart, your soul. More and more, you'll start catching yourself in those moments where you're about to say yes, but your body is saying no. Where you're about to explain yourself again, even though you already said what you needed to say very clearly. In those moments, that's where everything changes. In those moments, and it's not always these big dramatic moments or some big life overhaul decision, but in those everyday, small, quiet moments and decisions where you start advocating for yourself, you start honoring yourself, you start respecting yourself. And if it's a no, you say no. And that's where everything changes, when you start to choose yourself again and again and again. Let's talk about what happens when you don't choose yourself. And let's talk about what happened all those times in the past when you didn't choose yourself, when you never chose yourself, perhaps. You become easier to access, easier to confuse, easier to manipulate, constantly adjusting to other people's energy, constantly adjusting to other people's expectations. And your sense of direction isn't coming from within. It's coming from whatever is happening around you. And that's why things feel unstable, because you're not grounded in yourself. A woman who is centered in herself, she moves differently. She doesn't need closure. She doesn't need permission to walk away from what already felt wrong. She doesn't sit there negotiating with discomfort, trying to turn it into clarity. She already has clarity and she trusts it. And that's the shift. The shift to becoming more aligned with yourself, which will change your life. That will transform your life. You stop tolerating the dynamics where you have to shrink, where you have to over-explain, where you have to walk on eggshells, or where you disconnect from your own instincts just to keep something going, just to keep the peace, the fake peace. It's fake. And when you stop tolerating the dynamics and the situations where you have to shrink, where you have to over-explain, where you have to walk on eggshells, and where you disconnect from your own instincts, when you stop that, when you stop doing that, that's when things start falling away for the better. Things will start falling away, start falling apart. Let it go. It wasn't real. Now the real begins. Situations, people, patterns will all start falling away, and it can feel uncomfortable because you have been used to maintaining those things in an artificial way, but you've been used to that. That's been your norm. And so it can feel uncomfortable as you shift and as you adjust. But there will be a part of you that feels relief because you're finally in alignment. We're beginning the process of being in alignment, and you will be in alignment. And you know that. A part of you knows that. And you will feel immense relief. So yes, it can feel uncomfortable at first, and it's going to be a process, but there will be that other part of you that feels relief. And you are going to tap into that other part of you, the part that actually knows who you are and what's best for you. You are going to tap into that more and more. Alignment isn't always comfortable in the beginning, but it's always clear. Even with that, at first, it may not be as clear, but the murkiness will dissolve as time goes on. It will be clear. With alignment, especially as time goes on and you settle into this true space more and more, there's no confusion. There's no constant second guessing. There's no needing to convince yourself. It will be clear. Again, maybe not at first, because you have to get accustomed to staying true, to being in alignment, to doing what's for you, not what's for everyone and everything and everywhere around you but you. So at first, it may feel murky, not as clear, even though alignment and truth is clear. But when you've spent so much time in a haze, it can take a second to get used to the alignment and the clarity that comes with alignment. And once you start operating from that place, your life starts reflecting that clarity. Your life will reflect the alignment. So if your life feels off right now, if things feel off, if things have always been off, if you feel off, if your life feels off, just pause. Ask yourself something very simple. Where am I still choosing others over myself? That's the moment, and those are the types of moments where you either come back to yourself or you leave yourself again on the self-abandonment train. Choose yourself. Thank you for tuning in. May women continue to rise, and may the matriarchy rise.